Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a drink.
All right, and with that, we are back in the lobby bar for the week of December the 9th, 2024. Brian and Michaela here with you. And Michaela, we are carrying on into our December. It is Bailey's month here on Drink
It
the
sure
Movies.
is.
Hopefully everyone out there, was able to pick up a bottle of Bailey's or something like that along those lines. And that's going to be really good, for Christmas. Make some cocktails, do some baking with it.
Yeah.
What about you? Are you getting excited for Bailey's month now? We had that first cocktail last week, just our, Bailey's and coffee. Did that get you straight for Christmas,
Oh,
or what do
it
you think?
did. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. I love Bailey's this time of year because you can do it. You can use it so versatilely. You can put it over ice cream. You can put it over like soft serve and then re-ice it, and it creates like a slushy. That's so fun.
Ooh,
Bailey's
okay.
or any sort of Irish cream is basically one of the most delicious things ever created. It's very
But
excited, even though it was not created in Ireland. And so I'm super excited about this recipe because it's super easy and it's also like really inspired because I just started drinking these maybe a couple of years ago and I've had a lot of time to drink Bailey's. So
that's true. Yeah, Bailey's is always good this time of year. And I found this recipe. It's dead simple. It's perfect for the lobby bar because it's two ingredients. They're probably things you have on hand, but if not, you could totally like change this up or do whatever kind of riff you want on it. But it's pretty simple. It's called the Bailey's Christmas Cocktail, and it is just into like a rocks glass with some ice. I like that because it's going to dilute your vodka here a little bit, but it's just equal parts of peppermint vodka and Bailey's over ice. How simple is that? That's pretty easy. You can obviously buy peppermint vodka, or you could make some. Either get like some peppermint like extract, right? That you get like in your baking aisle, or you could infuse some. Remember, we made like a candy cane infused vodka
yeah.
a couple years back for one of the Christmas movies. You could do that. If you didn't want to do that, certainly change it up. Use whatever kind of vodka flavor you think would go really good with Bailey's, and try that out. But yeah, this one's wintry. It's Christmassy. It is dead simple. And it's not like super, super sweet, which is something you kind of get into with Bailey sometimes.
Yeah, you run into that. It can be very syrupy, some of the stuff that you have with Bailey's, because of the viscousness of the Bailey's itself. It's very like kind of luscious and creamy, and even though it's not made with, it's not refrigeratable. Like when you buy it, it's coatable on your tongue.
Hmm.
So you just want to be careful there. So if you're going to make your own, like candy cane vodka, just watch it, watch the sugar levels, because what you don't want is these two ingredients to mesh together to become just peppermint syrup, because it will
It's
happen if you're not
just a sugar
careful.
bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. Hey, if that's your thing, you do you, boo. But if you want to drink a lot of these, I recommend maybe not, because it's
Yeah.
going to feel sweeter over time once that ice melts as well, and
Hmm.
it'll be less creamy and less rich tasting. And so you definitely want to prepare for that.
Yeah, for sure. I like doing it kind of more of a long drink here over ice. You could probably also make this as a shot if that's your jam. You could go for that for sure. But yeah, I like this one because it's a little bit not quite as sweet. You type Bailey's recipes into your little web browser there, and it basically is like, here's like a chocolate fudge brownie martini thing. So this one is a little bit more kind of straight laced and a little bit,
Yeah.
less of that sweetness, a little bit more character, especially there from the peppermint. So I wanted to get that going for everyone here as we make our way through December. And speaking of making our way through December, Michaela, you were kind enough to gift me the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. I'm about 9 days in now at this point, but I have been doing those on our YouTube channel. If you're listening out there on the podcast feed, you might not even know, but we do have a YouTube channel. It's basically just where the podcasts go onto YouTube. That's how they get onto the YouTube music thing. That's now what Google Podcasts used to be. But I've been putting up those tastings there on that as I've been going through the whiskeys. It's been a lot of fun going through those. That's been awesome. So special shout to Michaela there for hooking me up with that advent calendar. You're doing a gin advent calendar on Facebook. That's kind of coming and going as busy schedules are getting in the way of things. But there's always going to be
Yeah.
room for gin. I'm sure you'll be recapping it at least as close as, or at least by the time we get closer to Christmas.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's one of those things, man. Gin, I mean, it's the same, I think, right? Like
Yeah.
it's so fun, but that's a lot of alcohol, and we already do a lot of alcohol here at Drink the Movies,
24
I feel
days of
like.
martinis. That's pretty good.
So it's a lot. It's a lot. So bear
That's
with
a
me.
lot.
I will be unboxing more of those and sending them out via Facebook for everybody to see as I can. But it is really cool. It's very tasty, and I'd never seen a gin one before. So kudos to Anthony for gifting that to me. That's awesome.
Hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the box office because I finally went and saw Moana 2,
Oh, excellent.
and
Speaking of a lot, that's how much
yeah,
money it made. It was a lot.
it made
Again,
a lot.
$52 million this week,
Wow.
followed by Wicked in second place, $34.5 million. Very respectable. I think going into its third week now at this point. Gladiator 2 at 12.5 million. Pushpa the Rule of Two, Red One, rounding out the top five. But yes, Michaela, you did make it out to see Moana 2. We went out to see Gladiator 2, and then you saw Moana 2 with the husband and kiddo, I believe, there the
Yeah.
following day. So how was that? How was the Moana of it all?
The Moana of it all, look, it was good. It was not, I did not feel it was as good
She
as the
made a
first
face
one.
out there, audio listeners. So
I mean, it was good. It was good. I, I feel like they capitalized on a very similar story. But the animation is amazing, and the way that
mhm.
they craft this island, because for those of you that don't know, they're trying to find this island that's kind of at the bottom of the ocean in order to connect to other islands, and not feel so alone out in their own island. And so it's a little similar in that, they have to do a lot of wayfinding and traveling, and they had to do that. Moana had to do that a lot in the first movie as well, but this is a little bit different because it's just a little bit more grown up. I feel
Okay.
it's not as dark,
Well,
or
she's grown up,
it's
right? The
yeah. And
girl,
so I
right?
think
Yeah.
that's great. But if you were looking for like the exact same kind of thought or the exact same thing, it's a little bit of a different take. So I feel like people are going to say the same thing about Moana 2 as they were about Frozen 2, which is it's not going to become as beloved, but it is a much more like compelling story, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. So, yeah, Moana 2, it's out there playing right now. You can go check that out. I almost watched the first Moana here over the weekend, just to prepare me in case I make my way out to see Moana 2. And maybe I will go out to see that because we got a couple of things coming out this week. I don't know for sure if I'll make it out to see either of these. I know someone in your household is definitely looking forward to both of these, I do believe. But we have Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, the animated Lord of the Rings movie is coming out, and also Craven the Hunter, which I guess is part of that Sony Spider-Man universe. It's a character that no one's ever heard of, but Sony keeps having to make these things to keep their Spider-Man license. I believe that's how it's working. But I will say, Craven the Hunter looks like the best of these so far, so that's good. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim, I'm definitely going to see it at some point. It is a little bit long, I think, for an animated film. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, which feels pretty long for an animated thing. So it better be real good to hold attention for that long, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my son and my husband are very excited about this because they love the content of it all, and the animation looks actually really good.
It
But
looks
we'll just
gorgeous,
have to
yeah, for
see
sure. Mhm.
if the story is going to be compelling enough. I think that these Lord of the Rings stories, they feel like they need to be long. Filmmakers, people of all, listen, they don't need to be 3 hours long. I promise they don't. Um, I promise they don't. And so while I'm excited that it's not 3.5 hours, as you say, it's an animated film. That's going to get, I think, a little wary. We're going to get movie fatigue pretty at about the hour and 45-minute mark. So we'll see what the last 30 minutes bring to us there.
Yeah. Yeah, it mostly concerns me, the title here, and I'm not super familiar with this particular story, but the Ro War of the Rohirrim. If it's a lot of war animated for that long, that's going to be tough, I think. But if it does a good job of, building out that world and these characters and things, if it's more of the things surrounding the war, then that could be
Yeah.
really good. So definitely interested to see that, get feedback on it. I haven't heard really too much about it other than seeing the previews. So that's what we've got coming out this week. TV wise, not a lot coming out. There's like a Dexter origin story that I'm not even going to bother talking about. What the heck is up with that? Golden Globe nominees, those were released today. Not really going to go through those either, except to just remind Michaela that we're mere mortals here as we are making our way to Oscar season. Hopefully, we can get these movies watched because I feel like we're already so far behind and we don't even know yet for sure.
Oh no. Yeah, I think there's about 60 that I'm behind on already.
That's true. Yeah, there's only
Oh
there's only
goodness.
there'll be like 61 nominees, and we're like 60 behind already for sure. But that's okay. That's okay because we have been watching some other good stuff. Most notably, I've been watching my cheesy Christmas movies. Last week, I watched what was it, A California Christmas? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Talked about that on Patreon, patreon.com/drink the movies. Basically, I'm just talking about it. Michaela assigns me one. It's like homework, and then I watch it and talk about it. This week, we're going to be talking about Falling for Christmas. Lindsay Lohan. That's going to be a good time. And we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about a Christmas movie on our main show. Last week we talked about Wicked. Go see that, everyone. And then this week we're going to be talking about A Boy Called Christmas. So you can look forward to that on the main feed later this week. So with that, Michaela, I think what we better do is we better grab our bottle of Bailey's. We better get some peppermint vodka going and mix
Yeah.
up a couple of these. That's going to get us in the holiday spirit as we're getting down awfully close to crunch time in terms of getting our gifts in time. So let's do that, and we'll talk to everyone next week in the lobby bar.